It's been a long, dark night, and I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long, hard fight, but I can see a brand new day dawning. I've been looking for the sunshine, 'cause I ain't seen it in so long. Everything's gonna work out just fine. Everything's gonna be alright. It's been all wrong. 'Cause I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay. It's been a long, long time since I've known the taste of freedom and those clean vines that have me bound, but I don't need 'em. I've been like a captured eagle. You know an eagle's born to fly. Now that I've won my freedom, I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay. I can see the light. 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 Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay.
That was so delightful. Good morning and welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We are so delighted to have you here today, whether you're in person or attending virtually. It is good to be together, a community of youth, adults, and children sharing the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. I'm Claire Schleicher. I'm a member of the Board of Directors and I use she, her pronouns. If you're accompanied by children today, we warmly welcome you and your whole family. We invite you to explore our Soul Work Center over here by the window, where there's different activities designed to help people of all ages actively engage with today's worship service. If you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to be shared in the meditation, please add it to the meditation bowl over here by the Soul Work Center. Or if you're on virtually, you can drop it in the chat box before the opening hymn. Please make sure to gain consent before you put someone's full name in the bowl. After the service, we hope that you'll find connections, informal conversation, and cookies in the social hall. Along with the tables and information about upcoming events, we hope that you will check it out. If you're looking for a short time of connection and community, our small group conversations are still happening, both on Zoom and in the Emerson Alcove. However you participate, these small groups are self-facilitated and the facilitation guidelines will be provided. In the alcove, they're printed on the table. For Zoom, we'll be putting them in the chat box for you at the end of your service. Please grab whatever you need and then find your way there after the postlude. A special thank you to our featured musicians today. Hot Elements is made up of 3 singers. Jamie Staska is the fire, Karen Lusky is the water, and Kelsey Robbins is the earth. That gave me goosebumps. Together they use breath or air to make sacred and secular music. The group formed in 2017 and enjoys collaborating on a cappella and acoustic sets. Thank you so much for being with here today. Welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world.
Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this space where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. I'm Reverend Jack, and my pronouns are he, him.
Good morning. My name is Heather Olson-Tro, and my pronouns are she, her. My 3 fantastic, beautiful children are the most important part of my life. The best description of how it feels to be a parent that I've ever heard is that when your children are born, suddenly it feels like your heart is living outside your body. So I actually have 3 hearts out in the world, running into walls, challenging me to try to be the best version of myself that I can be. That feeling of all-consuming love is the ultimate vulnerable sensation. What if something happens to one or all of my hearts? What would I do? In the course of my parenting journey, that vulnerability has translated to feelings of intense anxiety, sometimes debilitating levels of worry and fear. I wouldn't have been able to cope with those feelings by myself if I hadn't sought out therapy. My therapist has given me so many amazing tools to help me cope with these terrible, oppressive feelings. But her advice that I come back to constantly when I'm worrying about my kids or their health or their futures or something more bleak and unpredictable is to come back to and acknowledge that feeling of vulnerability. So acknowledging the feeling of vulnerability and allowing that understanding to help me push past the fear or the sadness is step 1. But my personal journey involves a second step, one that is much harder. Because even though I know where they come from, I view these moments of vulnerability as moments of weakness. I see them as a deficiency rather than as a strength. I was searching desperately for some wise quote or perfect soundbite to help me describe a better mindset, and I found it in an unexpected place, a meme in my Facebook feed. Someone has taken a page from a Little Critter book. If you're not familiar with Little Critter, they were a popular children's book series in the 70s and 80s. The original text on the page reads like this: I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I was brave and held it in. Some thoughtful and wise soul has given that passage a nice revision. They crossed out, but I didn't, and held it in. So the page now reads, I wanted to cry, so I did! Exclamation point. I was brave and sad. I don't have to be hard on myself for feeling sad or scared. I can be sad and brave and vulnerable.
Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is Open My Heart, number 1013 in the teal softcover hymnal. It might be new to you, so Jamie's going to lead us once through, and then we'll sing it, I think, 3 or 4 times together. Please rise and embody your spirit.
My name is Nico, and my pronouns are they, them. This morning's story is Whose Reality Is It Anyway? By Orlando R. Brognola, adapted by Amy Peterson. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there was an average, perfectly ordinary town. In fact, everything about this town was ordinary, except for one thing. There was a storyteller in this town. The storyteller had arrived one day without any advance notice. There had been no invitation, no request. The storyteller just showed up, took in a great big breath, and went about constructing a giant sign inviting all people, anyone, everyone, to come and listen to stories. And the storytelling began. There would be forests with huge and sometimes strange trees and mossy rocks, and rivers with golden fish swimming. And there were talking tigers, and a sly fox, and wise turtles, and a tall blue mountain peak with snow at the top, and a wonderful, magical city on its slopes. And all the children listening to the stories wanted to listen forever because the stories made them feel amazed and happy. And they wanted to share their amazement and happiness with the rest of their families and anyone else who would listen. So they asked the storyteller if they could take part of the story home with them. And the answer was always, yes, of course. And so they did. Look at what the storyteller gave me, the children would exclaim. But the elders would reply, you can't have that in the house. Tigers are much too loud. The turtles are too big. The rocks are too mossy. That snow will melt all over the house. Take it back. And so the children went back to the storyteller with their heads hung low. Our families won't let us bring anything home from the stories. Please help us, they said. The storyteller thought and thought about how to help the children in this very ordinary town. The next day, something happened that got everyone talking. Things started showing up in unexpected places. A big tree right in the middle of the street, a kind tiger at the post office, a wise turtle at the breakfast table, and a huge blue mountain right at the front door of a house. Nobody knew what was going on, but they were pretty sure they knew who was responsible. And so the townspeople went to the mayor to plead their case. You have to do something about that storyteller. That storyteller has turned our town and our lives upside down. And so the mayor marched right over to the storyteller's house and knocked on the door. Yes, came a kind voice from inside. This has got to stop, the mayor said angrily. What has to stop? Asked the voice from inside. All of these things, all these inconvenient things are showing up everywhere, said the mayor. You don't like them? Asked the voice, sounding surprised. "Are you kidding?" shouted the mayor. "Today I couldn't even get into my own house because there was a mountain right in front of the door." "Well, why don't you just go through it?" asked the voice. "Go through it? It's a mountain. It's made of rock. What do you mean, go through it?" "But it's just a story, Mountain," said the voice. "All you have to do is enter the story. It's so simple. Just enter the story." The mayor was flustered and did not know what to do. So the mayor left to ponder this problem and to seek the help of the wisest teacher in the town. "I don't know what to do," said the mayor. "Everything in the town has changed. Everything is out of order, and everyone is upset." Said the teacher. "Tell me more." And so the mayor talked all about the tigers and the mountain and the turtle at the breakfast table, and about what the storyteller said. The teacher pondered this for a moment and then asked a question. "Why did you decide not to enter the story, as the storyteller suggested?" The mayor wasn't expecting this question. "I don't know, or at least I don't think I know," said the mayor. "It just didn't make sense at the time, and really, I didn't know how. And then I got angry, and I just didn't want to." So the teacher asked, "What would you do now if you could do it over?" "I'm not sure," the mayor said. "I'm kind of afraid, though I'm not sure what exactly I'm afraid of." "Okay," said the teacher. "New things can be unsettling, and most of us are reluctant to jump in or to even listen at all. But it can be really useful to look at things in a new way. We learn new things, and we can have a lot of fun in the process." "But," said the mayor, "it's not easy. After all, how do we know that we will like how the story ends?" And the teacher said, with all the gentleness in the world, "Well, we don't know. All we can do is decide if we are willing to learn something new. And we each decide whether we will allow ourselves to be amazed and delighted by the story in front of us, or if we will be closed to the magic of it. When a story shows up in our town or on our doorstep, it is an invitation to become listeners and learners. It is an invitation to become part of a beautiful dance, as each of us is both creators of stories and receivers of wisdom. But we can't be either creators of stories nor receivers of wisdom without first entering into the story." And the mayor thought about it some more and decided that maybe the teacher was right, and that he ought to go back to the storyteller and find out how to enter into the story after all. It is now time to sing our children and youth out for their Sunday circles. So please rise in body or spirit for Go Lift It Up, number 1057 in the teal paperback hymnal.
This congregation is sustained by the generosity of the people who call this place home. By giving to this morning's offering, you are giving life to the programs and services that help form and grow this community. We'll pass the baskets now. You can also donate on the WBUUC webpage, send a check or leave a check in the lockbox outside the front office, or use the text to give option in your order of service or in the Zoom chat box. Whichever way you give, thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together.
Bum, 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 bum. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice will beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love? They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, so I have been told. They say we're buried far, like a distant star, very far from home. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so long. 'Cause you're not where you belong. Inside my arms. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I still believe in summer days. The seasons always change and life will find a way. I'll be your harvester of light and send it out tonight so we can start again. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so long. 'Cause you're not where you belong. Inside my arms. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My love, a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? 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 Is love alive?
For just a moment, let's be together in this moment of prayer and meditation. Gathered together as we are, about 80 people here in this room and 40 households on Zoom. Take a breath, settle into your seat, feel the support and groundedness in your body. We recognize the vulnerability it takes to ask for help and to hold on to hope together as one community. This morning feels like many other mornings, and it also feels like a new day. We've been here before, toward the end of winter, as we hear and feel spring around the corner. Signs of new life, both outside and within. May we nurture that life with breath and space and hope and groundedness. This morning, our community holds in light and love Sue Dahlman, who broke her wrist recently and is still recovering. Prayers and positive energy for the loved ones of Mary Lillo who live with mental illness and grief. Pray for Michelle Shaw's family in Kansas. We also pray for Kara Williams Zenith and her family as they mourn the loss of her father, Guy Williams. Guy passed away on Monday, and his memorial is planned for the spring. Also, meditation thoughts for Jan Harris, who will be having carpal tunnel surgery next week. And in addition to all these things, each of us has our own people and concerns weighing heavy on our hearts today. Out of this silence and into it, let's name them out loud. Knowing that together, more easily, we can hold these things as we pray. Amen.
This little light of mine used to be too scared to shine. But when mine met yours, it would run and hide. But in time, I came to find I want to shine so bright it makes the whole world smile and pay back the beautiful feeling that allows me to be whatever I want to be. I wanna be free and easy. This little light of mine used to be too scared to shine. When mine met yours, it would run and hide. But in time, I came to find I wanna shine so bright it makes the whole world smile and pay back the beautiful feeling that allows me to be whatever I wanna be. And I'm gonna be free and easy. This little light of mine used to be too scared to shine. When mine met yours, it would run and hide. And in time, I came to find I wanna shine so bright it makes the whole world smile and pay back the beautiful feeling that allows me to be whatever I wanna be. And I'm gonna be free and easy, free and easy, free and easy.
Our guest preacher today is joining us virtually. Her name is the Reverend Alicia Roxanne Ford. She serves with the Unitarian Universalist Association as the director of the international office. And just for the record, she actually is not one of our candidates here, so don't get excited once you hear how good her homily is. We'll have a different awesome candidate, but not her. She is a graduate of the Iliff School of Theology and currently lives in Longmont, Colorado. Alicia was born and spent her formative years in Trinidad and Tobago. She identifies as an African descent, queer, cisgender female with deep roots in Tobago. She considers herself bicultural and is grateful that her formative years enabled her to cultivate such a global perspective. Alicia is a certified spiritual director and has a strong interest in health and wellness. When she's not hiking, you can find her reading, working out, or podcast walking. We are so fortunate that she is sharing her homily with us today. So without further ado, the Reverend Alicia Ford.
Start by offering my gratitude to Roger for the invitation to be with you in worship. My gratitude to Jack, Nico, Heather, and all who made today's service possible. Friends, thank you. No day is a given, not even this day. So how blessed it is that you are here together in this space, real or virtual, and during this time made sacred by your presence, by your intentions. Friends, how I wish I could be with you in person, to share in worship, in time and space, to know that we are human together doing our best to create community and make meaning on this Sunday morning. Even though I cannot be with you, it is good to lift our hearts in song. It is good to share our burdens, sorrows, to celebrate our joys. It is good to feel the web of community that holds us whether we are here in person or online. In a world that feels very much like it is breaking apart, I am grateful that you are here on this day, creating loving community, creating holy community. Life has been overwhelming. Has that been your experience as well? The news is a torrential flood of despair, and in truth, in so many places in the past 12 months, we've experienced very real floods as temperatures hit higher highs and lower lows around the globe. And just when you think we're emerging from unprecedented times with the pandemic, we're forced to remember that there is a centuries-old pandemic of white supremacy that has not taken a pause and shows no signs of pausing. My mom says, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And lately it seems like God has maybe overestimated just how much we could take, or else God is on vacation, or perhaps God knows something about humankind that we've forgotten about ourselves, and we desperately, desperately need to remember. The truth is, I don't believe in an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God. And when I'm swirling in hurt and overwhelm, I feel the need to believe in something, to grasp some shred of understanding that would explain the what and the why of the experiences we are living through. And maybe you can relate. Maybe like me, sometimes you look for signs, for messages, even though you know that it's probably not super rational, but still, you keep an eye out, just in case. And so recently, when I happened upon a poem titled Kiss by Ellen Bass, I read it and I paused. And I had this moment of asking to no one in particular, what is the universe, the holy, God, somebody trying to tell me now? Let me just share the poem with you. It's Kiss by Ellen Bass. When Lynn saw the lizard floating in her mother-in-law's swimming pool, she jumped in. And when it wasn't breathing, its body limp as a baby drunk on milk, she laid it on her palm and pressed one finger to its silky breast with just about the force you need to test the ripeness of a peach, only quicker, a brisk little push with a bit of a spring in it. Then she knelt, dripping wet in her Doc Martens and her camo t-shirt with the neck ripped out, and bent her face to the lizard's face, her big plush lips to the small stiff jaw that she'd pried apart with her opposable thumb. And she blew a tiny puff into the lizard's lungs. The sun glared against the turquoise water. What did it matter if she saved one lizard? One lizard more or less in the world. But she bestowed the kiss of life again and again until the lizard's wrinkled lids peeled back, its muscles roused its own first breath, and she set it on the hot cement where it rested a moment, before darting off. What is the universe, the holy, God, somebody, the poet Ellen Bass, trying to tell us now? Imagine fully dressed in the Misfits uniform, Doc Martens leather, not inexpensive, diving in before anyone can protest, diving in without hesitation and lifting with care a creature whose existence we seldom give thought to, diving in without hesitation, drenched now, without a change of clothes even, to offer a salvation, one fingertip, a brisk little push with a bit of a spring in it. Offering life, resurrection, in the form of a tiny puff of air. Did she even stop to ponder if it would work? CPR on a lizard, who ever heard of such a thing? Was she hoping to turn into a princess, royalty of some sort? A lizard, it doesn't even have thumbs, for God's sake. It literally can't make anything. It will never be able to participate in a capitalist economy and prove its worth by accumulating wealth or, well, anything for that matter. It's a lizard. And here we are, the poet is telling us that having pried apart the lizard's stiff jaw with her opposable thumbs, she bestowed the kiss of life again and again. And the poet is asking us, what did it matter if she saved one lizard? I read this poem and I paused. I studied my opposable thumbs. I studied them. I studied my opposable thumbs. What, I asked, does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be human in a time such as this, when the world is turning, when there is a flood of despair and overwhelm, when all manner of disruption and injustice is taking up space in our government, schools, laws, streets? What does it mean to be human? Maybe it's difficult to know where and how to dive in, whom and what to hold with gentleness, with care, who and what to save. Remember the spotted lanternfly? It's possible that with all that is taking place in the world, it's no longer top of mind. So to remind you, the spotted lanternfly is an invasive species that needs to be gotten rid of upon sight. Last summer, its prevalence grew in the Northeast, and neighborhoods were on high alert. If one spotted the spotted lanternfly, instructions were to stomp it out and report it. Enter 9-year-old Bobby with a heart full of concern for her neighborhood, which included plants and trees and probably the whole world. She took it upon herself to canvass her neighborhood trees, tracking the presence of the spotted lanternfly, ready to disarm them with a mixture of soap, water, and apple cider vinegar. She would approach trees, study leaves, protecting the plants one spray at a time. She felt it her duty to help. She had taken up the call to stomp it out. That was the campaign. Collecting as many spotted lanternflies as she could, because every little bit helped. Now, 3 months into this courageous and solo undertaking, someone, a neighbor, called the police. Someone, a neighbor, complained to the police about a little black woman walking and spraying stuff on the sidewalks and trees. That someone said, "I don't know what the hell she's doing. She scares me, though." Someone, a neighbor, proclaimed to be afraid of a child who lived in the neighborhood across from them for 8 years. We read the news often enough to know how this story could have ended, right? We read the news often enough to know that neighbors aren't always neighborly, and to protect and to serve applies only to a small segment of the population. To protect and to serve isn't always invested in saving everyone. It isn't always willing to truly witness the humanity in everyone. We read the news often enough to know that Black and brown bodies aren't afforded vulnerability, innocence, and childhood. Who would you dive into the pool for? Who would I wonder? The poet Elizabeth Alexander, in her poem, Praise Song for the Day, writes, "Some live by love thy neighbor as thyself. Others by first do no harm or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond marital, filial, national, love that casts a widening pool of light, love with no need to preempt grievance. Some live by love thy neighbor as thyself. What if the mightiest word is love? Would love as the mightiest of words ban histories from being taught? Would love punish and ostracize LGBTQ youth for trying to exist? Would love criminalize women's bodies and choices? Would love steal the lives of others under the guise of protecting neighborhoods? Or would love remind us? Would love remind us that to be human is to care, and to care is to use that which we've been given, our opposable thumbs, and compassion and breath, to be here for all of us? Would love remind us that written on each one of us in invisible ink are the words, handle with care, no exceptions? That ours is the task of prying apart anything that seeks to deny any one of us a chance to thrive. For Bobby, the intrepid spotted lantern flycatcher, a group of Yale scientists and professors who call themselves her Yale aunties dove in and bestowed the kiss of life, bringing Bobby to campus to meet other Black female scientists, honoring her with ceremony and offering recognition of her work, prying apart a narrative that limited who and what she could be, prying apart and disrupting the potential for lifelong harm. God, professes my mom, does not give you more than you can handle. And perhaps God knows something about us that we have forgotten about ourselves. And that is, especially in times such as these, we need not harm each other. We need each other to be and to remain human. We need each other to be and to remain human. We need the whole to thrive. Some live by love thy neighbor as thyself. Others by first do no harm or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond marital, filial, national, love that casts a widening pool of light, love with no need to preempt grievance, love that is one small gift of breath, one moment of diving in, fully clothed, a tiny hope flowing from one being to another, doing something utterly foolish but wild with possibility, overflowing with thoughtless compassion just because we should all be handled with care, because we are here, and this is the reason we are here for all of us. Nothing else, no reward, no thought of if the recipient is deserving or worthy or why bother. Maybe the world won't change, but someone's world will, just for a moment, and you will too, not into a god or an angel or a savior or royalty, but perhaps you will be made more human, which is to say more alive, more loving, more connected, and more whole for having been of use for a mere moment, for having used your opposable thumbs, for having heeded the notice to care. No day is a given. And here we are in this day. Praise Song for this day, says the poet Elizabeth Alexander. Praise song for the struggle, praise song for the day, praise song for every hand-lettered sign, the figuring it out at kitchen tables, praise song for tenderness, for diving in, for handling each other with care, every opportunity we have, every opportunity we have, for sharing breath, breath of life, breath of hope, breath of love, for as long as we are here. Amen. Ashe. And so may it be.
Our closing hymn is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, number 1008 in the teal softcover hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit.
Again, my gratitude for us being here and sharing worship in this way. Go forth into this day, friends, a day that was not promised to us, a day that we are blessed to be alive in and live as if the mightiest word is love, handling each other with care every opportunity we have, sharing the breath of life, breath of hope, breath of love, for as long as we are here. Blessed be. Amen.
divinity defined. I am a god on the inside. I am a star, piece of it all.